pull me low. With their heavy hands and bitter words, they thought they'd steal my show. But I was born in thunder, pain and fire deep inside. Rise back up, a stronger man, no matter how many times they tried. Unbreakable, unshakable, unbreakable, unshakable.
What's up, jerks? Thank you so much to SK27 for another theme video introduction. I really appreciate that. It's funny. I get a little humbled when I see it. Thank you, Scott. This is Mike Crawford, Young Jerks. Sunday night, we're back. We've been doing night after night after night. We're back regularly. We've got some great guests. Tonight is amazing show we're going to bring you. Very happy about some of the guests that have been coming back again. This is one of those guests. It's a big night. We're talking about Kelsey Fitzsimmons. We may also discuss some other subjects, specifically Nancy Guthrie. I mean, we're still wondering what is going on with Nancy Guthrie. The media's pulling out. It seems like the sheriff's office is scaling back. We may discuss that because last show, this guest came on. We had a great discussion. A lot of questions were asked about Nancy Guthrie, and that's still going on. People, there's a few media still sticking out for the long run, and they're still out there, but it's kind of scaled back, and I'm still interested in that one. But everybody, since this last hearing on Friday, we've all been talking about Justin, and even before that, the day before, when the video came out and the new court filing from the defense from Kelsey Fitzsimmons came out. The story of the day, Justin did what? We're all talking about, what did Justin do? Wow, what's this DA doing? What is Radel going to do about it? What's Kelsey going to do about it? There was a hearing this week. A bunch of us were there. There were more media, more supporters than I've ever seen. I was there, I think, pretty much from the first hearing. And every hearing, it's gotten a little more intense, a little more. And this time, you could really see every single TV news station in town, in Boston, was there. There was about 6 large cameras there, and there was a larger audience too. It's a new location in Lawrence. They moved the case from Salem, Mass to Lawrence, Mass. So it's, you got more room in there. It's a bigger room, but it was completely filled with supporters of Kelsey Fitzsimmons. And like I said, there's this new video that came out that we're going to talk about, and as well as this court filing and affidavits from Kelsey and her dad, Steve, and video surveillance and what this might mean. We've got a great guest tonight, retired FBI agent. She's returning to the show. One thing I want to announce before we bring her up, we are doing a fundraiser tonight. If you want to support Kelsey, people always ask us for this. How can I help? We got her defense fund pinned in the chat tonight. So if you want to kick in some money, support the fundraiser tonight, please do so. There's also a website, justiceforkelsey.com, that you can check out if you want to know how to support her. They have merchandise. They have a Facebook group, but it's givesendgo.com/helpkelseyheal that we have pinned in the chat right now. And it's at 88,938 right now. I'd like to see it go up. Let's try to get it to 90,000 tonight. That would be amazing. Let's bring up the guest, though. We have a great guest. She's waiting patiently. I'm very happy to have her back. She's a retired FBI agent. She's also an author. Check out her book. She's also got a great website, JodeneWebber.com. It's Weber. And we were talking about all the safety and products and how to protect your household and your car last time. So she's got a lot of good information out there. Check out her website, check out her books, and her latest book goes to 911, supporting 911 survivors, World Trade Center, as well as the Pentagon. She was at the Pentagon. She told her story last time. Very excited to have her back. Retired FBI agent. We call her Jodene Webber. What's up, Jody? How you doing tonight?
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me back on.
Oh, your background looks beautiful tonight. You've got I'm like envious. I'm like, man, that's lighting looks spot on.
Well, let me tell you what, I am in the process of moving. So this is about the only part of my house that isn't piled high with cardboard boxes and bubble wrap right now. So this is my little makeshift set for the next about 10 days, and then I'm out of here.
Oh boy, move-in's tough. How is it like have you been at the same place for a long time? Do you have a lot of
Yeah,
stuff to move?
about 17 years. So, and I'm moving to warmer temperatures. So it's
Oh,
a big
nice.
move. Yeah. So yeah, so this is about the only part of my house that looks like a house right now.
I can imagine. I don't even want to think about moving. That's the hardest thing. The
A
biggest
lot of work.
nightmare is moving. Yeah, a lot of work, a lot of unpaid work but once you're all settled, you'll be all happy in your new place. So
Oh,
that's
you
what you
bet.
gotta,
You bet.
yeah, yeah. Um, so yes, I mean, when you say warmer weather too, I'm just like, oh my God, so take me there. We just have piles of mountains of snow now in Massachusetts. It's really
Yeah, you
drudgy
guys
and
got hit
dreary.
bad about a week ago or the last weekend, and I'm in Pennsylvania right now, and it's just been a horrible winter here. So I feel like I jinxed myself because I'm like, oh, I'll just have one more winter and then I'm done. Well, this one has been worse than the last 5 winters combined.
Yeah, especially right at the end for us. Like I felt like it
Mhm.
wasn't that bad until like the last. That's always happens. February always gets you.
Mhm.
Hopefully that's it. Hopefully March is going to be nothing.
Yeah.
I'm
Cross your
looking forward
fingers.
to, yeah, melting, hopefully. So we're all talking about this Kelsey Fitzsimmons. There was a court hearing. There was a new bail motion. I don't even know if I sent you that one, but there's also, the full filing about Justin and the police officer that shot her and the DA's office kind of withholding
Mhm.
information. This whole motion that she filed. Um, where do you want to start with this, I guess? Because there's a lot to it. There's affidavits, there's videos. What do you think? Where do you think we should jump off on with this?
So I think first off, let's just remind the viewers who are not familiar with Kelsey's case, the background, what she's set to go to trial on at the end of March, March 23rd. Essentially, she gave birth to a baby just a little over a year ago. She suffered postpartum depression. She immediately sought treatment. She's a North Andover police officer. She sought treatment for the postpartum depression. She was cleared to go back to work. She had her service weapon returned to her, and her fiance, Justin, asked her to meet him at a park one night. And so she got the baby together in the stroller and went to the park, and he didn't show. And this was for a couple of hours. Well, then when she gets home with the baby, her colleagues show up to serve her with a restraining order and a custody order that Justin had obtained, saying that he feared for his safety and the baby's safety. And thus, her colleagues were coming to take the baby away from her and serve her with the restraining order against Justin. Well, at that point, this is where the stories diverge. Kelsey claims she reached for her gun, pointed it at herself, pulled the trigger, and the gun did not fire. The Officer Patrick Noonan, says that she pointed the gun at him, so he exchanged fire and shot her in the chest. She was hospitalized for 53 days. She gets out of the hospital. They tried to charge her with assault with a deadly weapon for the purposes of murder, and the grand jury no-billed that. So ultimately, she's charged with this assault charge, which she is scheduled to go to trial on March 23rd. Now, this past fall, there was a whole snafu because she had been out on bail, but because she was shot in the chest, She had difficulty blowing into that scram device, which monitors alcohol in your system. And so her attorney went back to court asking for some sort of a medical accommodation. Well, the judge was completely outrageous and said, well, if you can't abide by my conditions, back to jail you go. So I think she spent just over 100 additional days in jail. She got out right before Christmas. She was finally able to either blow into the scram or do some other method that was amenable. And so she's been out on bail. And so where we pick up is on Thursday, it came out, there's court filings by Kelsey's defense attorney, Tim Bradel, and Martha Coakley, the former attorney general for Massachusetts, who allege that they have video that while Kelsey is in the hospital, just a few days after she had been shot, she's literally fighting for her life, having surgeries, major surgeries. Her boyfriend, Justin, the one who filed the restraining order, he allegedly broke into her premises, which she owned. She owned the house. He's not on the deed. And he was with 3 buddies. They go in and they allegedly burgle the place. They steal her laptop. They stole cash. They stole her passport. And then he logged in on her computer, took money out of bank accounts, accessed her beneficiaries to her pension. And there are a number of state statutes that they claim he has violated. Now, he's a North Andover firefighter, is my understanding. And he, on his own, when he went to get this restraining order and the custody order for the baby, he put in an affidavit that he lived with his parents. So the fact that he thought he could just go in is rather remarkable. Now on Friday, all this paperwork filed on Thursday. On Friday, there was a discovery hearing related to Kelsey's upcoming trial. At that hearing, prosecutors said flat out, we're not charging him. We're not charging him with burglary or larceny or identity theft or any kind of financial fraud, anything like that. And so Tim Bradel and Martha Coakley are like, well, that's because he's your star witness in this upcoming assault case. And we want to know, did you make any promises to him? Like, if you still testify against Kelsey, then we won't charge you with these crimes, that sort of thing. So the judge appeared to me to be pretty much on the same page. But that, in a nutshell, is kind of where we're at.
What do you think about this, the fact that the Essex County DA, Paul Tucker, again made a statement that they looked at it, they didn't find any crime, they're not going to charge him with any crimes? What, I mean, you're an FBI,
I think he should be
retired
reported
FBI.
to the state bar. I think that's absolutely unbelievable. And I have a much harsher word I would like to use than that. Frankly, I think he not only has problems with state violations, I think he's got federal violations. If I were still active duty, I'd be looking at him for cyber intrusion. I'd be looking at him for identity theft. I'd be looking at him for possibly felony federal burglary and or wire fraud.
That's right.
I mean,
wire fraud, it's crossed state lines, I bet.
Yes,
any type of wire.
absolutely. When he accessed her pension account, even though it's a state pension, when you retire, you're not obligated to live in Massachusetts. You can live anywhere. And utilizing that pension account, that utilizes an interstate wire to transmit annuity payments to the various pension people, the people who've earned their pension. So the fact that he accessed that illegally, allegedly, and had no grounds to do so, I think, and the fact that he took her laptop, what is alleged, he took her laptop, went to his parents' home, connected to their Wi-Fi in order to do so. And there's a breadcrumb trail there. You can see the Wi-Fi he connected to, and that Wi-Fi has the maiden name of his mother in it. So it's clear that he was connecting, utilizing their Wi-Fi, which additionally gives them legal exposure. They could be
Absolutely.
charged with something like accessory after the fact. So
The
back to your
family,
original
the
question,
parents.
though, about the DA, I think that's absolutely unbelievable that he doesn't see any wrongdoing here. I mean, the video itself, you can see they break into the door. That's breaking and entering. He's not on the property records. He's put in an affidavit to the court that he doesn't live there. How is that not a Fourth Amendment violation?
Unbelievable.
You
He's a
know, and then
former, yeah,
he claims he was given, he told the police that,
that's
hey,
right.
I have to recover some property. And they say, well, go ahead and go in. Well, to me, the police don't have the right to give him authority to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't have the authority. I think that they were just going to escort him. Is the idea is really what he was calling for, an escort. And he was basically telling them that he still lived there, even though in the restraining order he said he lived at his parents' house. He had moved out that previous Sunday. So like he's told the government he moved out Sunday, Thursday. He's basically telling the North Andover police that he still lives there and that he wants an escort.
Well,
That's what it
he's
was.
got a problem either way, but
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is the defense is going to say, all right, well, who were these Andover police that gave you authority to go in? Because that's public corruption without a written consent from the homeowner or a search warrant. That's a violation of Kelsey's Fourth Amendment rights, illegal search and seizure, if cops are giving him that authority. Now, I highly doubt any cop is going to come forward and say, I'm the one that said it's okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead
yeah.
and bust in. Because we see on the tape, there's no cops going in with him.
Yeah, no, and I don't think they gave him permission. And I believe, because I did go to court, and I believe I did hear that they have maybe a recording of his calls to the police. So I feel like the defense, I know they have something on that. So they have some documentation on what actually was said, about that. So it'll be interesting to see what the cop said to him, word for
Well,
word.
but even if, let's say he did go in the way he did, but then that doesn't mean you get to take her things. He doesn't get to take her laptop. If the premise was, I'm going in to recover my property, well, that's not his computer. Why would he access her bank accounts and take her cash and take the letter off the refrigerator, which is crucial evidence in the upcoming trial? That's destruction potentially of relevant evidence. That's obstruction.
Yeah, the $5,000 cash too. Like if he really cleared out her accounts, that's like that's shocking. That is just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We were all asking the press gang, around Tim Bradle that day after court. We were all asking him about the criminal aspect, whether because the DA is not going to go along with the special prosecutor, whether he will just file a complaint with this, with the Superior Court himself, or they'll go to the feds. It seemed like he might do both. Is there what would you do? What would you suggest? Do you think it's better to go to the local court or the state court or to the feds or do both? Does it make a difference?
I would do both. I would ask for a special prosecutor, which quite frankly, I'd be surprised if the judge doesn't order that. There's clearly a conflict here between this district attorney's office and this witness, based on the fact that they now have this video evidence and they're not planning to prosecute him. And it's not just the DA, it's the assistant DA on the case. Any prosecutor within the office, if they don't feel that this is ethical or that this is in line with their oath under the state bar, they could refuse to be a prosecutor on this case. And we didn't see that Friday in court. So if I were Bradle, I would ask for a special prosecutor, number one, to have somebody independent, somebody that can come in, look at the situation, or then I would also pick up the phone and I'd call the FBI, because as I said, I see a multitude of problems here. I think the computer intrusion, that is very, very significant. The accessing the bank account, accessing the Expedia and canceling that trip, and then having taking the credit for that trip, changing beneficiaries, accessing her medical information, that there's identity theft included in that because he's posing allegedly as her to get into those accounts while committing the computer intrusion. And then again, when you go into a bank that's federally insured, you are either burglaring that bank or you are committing a wire fraud and or committing a wire fraud when you facilitate the transaction.
Totally. I mean, that's pretty common sense too, like that these are federal offenses when you take money out of any bank account like that, especially through like online accounts and all that. It's just
Well, and it carries serious, serious time. I mean, we're talking here, I'm not kidding, 15 to 20 years collectively if the FBI decides to take this case and the U.S. attorney.
right. We have a question here. I can answer this one, I think. I was asking who said they were contacting the feds. Bradel said that. Bradel had said that. Somebody said he said it online. I didn't see it, but he said it in person at the press conference. It was asked that he's considering
Oh, and I
contacting
don't think
them.
Martha's playing around either. I don't
Yeah,
think she's playing around either. I think if, they don't get their special prosecutor, you better believe the first call they make is to the FBI or the U.S. attorney's office.
definitely. It's funny because people were asking what can we do. I think you already made a good suggestion today. One of the questions was what can we do from Essex County. Like you said, I think contacting the bar association about the district attorney Paul Tucker, that would be a good move, right? How does one do
Yes,
that?
and they also have a select board meeting coming up. I believe it's right like the night before the next court hearing. And boy, you show up to those select board meetings and you let them know that, how can any woman, and frankly, women with children, feel safe in Massachusetts after what we've seen here in this case, in Karen Reed, with Sandra Birchmore. I mean, it is really just when and it sounds hyperbolic on its face, but when you look at the amount of corruption here, it is just unbelievable. And residents have to say, well, what do you mean that there were cops telling him he could just break into her home while she's hospitalized? If I'm in the hospital, does that mean the cops can just let my neighbor or any Joe Schmo just come into my house and take my laptop and access my bank accounts and take my money? I mean, that's what we're talking about here. And the fact that there is absolutely no prosecution or acknowledgement of that by the district attorney is just unbelievable.
This one right here, because the judge said this was kind of what I like this judge, but it was kind of bothering me what he was saying. He said that he can't require the DA's office to appoint a special prosecutor because there's a separation of powers. What do you think about that? Is that legit, or can he actually the judge say you have to do a special prosecutor?
I think this is a little out of my realm.
I know, right? Me too.
I just can't. To me, it would seem like the judge would have the authority to say there's a conflict here. I mean, we see the same thing going on with Aidan Carney and Betterow going in and saying, look, Mello and Cosgrove, there's a conflict. We need, either a new special prosecutor or they need to drop the case. Why would it be any different here?
I know, and I almost feel like the judge, there's another remedy. I'm thinking if the judge feels like he can't require them to do it, he should say to them, you can't use this witness unless you deal with this conflict. And there's only one way to deal with a conflict, really. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
unless they could find another option, it's like, that's what I would, if I was a judge, he has the authority to say, look, this witness is tainted unless you deal with your conflict.
Or drop the charge. Drop
Right.
it. Drop the case.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I mean, those are the remedies, right? You either have to drop the case or you have to do a special prosecutor. What do
Right.
you want to do? What do you want to do, DA's office? Maybe Tim Bradle needs to write it up that way. Like, if I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just thinking, like, if the judge is reluctant to force a special prosecutor, well, the judge can force. I have a feeling the judge can force them to do something about the conflict with the witness. I mean, that just how can you have a witness up when there's such a big conflict? I don't. It's not fair.
Well, and then there's also allegations against Officer Noonan
That's
and the
right.
fact that he, after the shooting, and again, it's kind of a he said, she said situation because they didn't have body camera at the time serving the restraining order. And after his critical incident period expired, I believe in around August or so, then he came back on duty, received full pay, but then in January 11th, was AWOL from work, didn't show up. And they tried contacting him, couldn't get a hold of him. Well, then they sent officers to his home. And it turned out he had taken a Flexerol pill, which to my understanding is like a muscle
That's
relaxant.
right. I looked it up. I had to
Yeah.
look that one up. I was like, "What's that?"
Yeah, and it does, my understanding is it does make you extremely groggy. And he said, I slept right through. Well, because of that, he got written up and he is on another one of these critical periods of time where he's kind of under review, but he's still allowed to work special details and get paid for them. And so Tim Bradle has argued to the court, well, yeah, they want to keep him in good standing. They don't want to show that he's a problem child because we've got this trial coming up in a few weeks and they're doing special favors for him too. And what sort of what's causing him to oversleep and take this medication and all those sorts of things. So I think there's a lot of problems there with Noonan as well as with Justin Alain, the boyfriend.
Which I think are going to be the kind of the prosecution is good. Like, I feel like those are the top two witnesses for them.
Oh, that's the whole case right there. And again, when you go back to that shooting, the shooting itself raises a lot of questions because Kelsey has always said she pointed the gun at her head. She pulled the trigger and the gun did not go off. Now, in my understanding of firearms in 22 years, either that gun was not loaded and did not go off, or it was loaded and the round jammed in the chamber. That's the only ways I can think of that gun wouldn't go off. So he says she reloaded when the gun didn't fire. And as she was attempting to reload, that's when he shot her. But to me, reloading and a gun jamming are two different things. When a gun jams, you have to clear that round out of the chamber. And then sometimes you even need to drop the magazine and insert an entirely new magazine and cycle a new round into the chamber. To me, that it sounds like she's saying the gun jammed. It sounds like he's saying she was attempting to reload. I find it highly problematic that their stories are that different. That's a real differentiation when you're familiar with firearms. But then again, it's his word against her word. There's no body camera. I'd be curious if they had one of those infant cameras over like a crib or a bassinet that is designed to look down at the infant when it's in the crib or bassinet. It wouldn't capture video of what happened, but it could potentially have captured audio. And verbal commands are very important in any sort of law enforcement shooting, because technically a law enforcement officer is supposed to say, drop the gun, let me see your hands, freeze, don't move, something like that. Did he give any verbal commands? And I think that would be critical to know as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there were other cameras in that house. I'm not sure which rooms. I don't believe the room that it happened in, but like you said, if there was something in another room, they might have picked up the audio.
That's right. That's right. And especially because in my experience, whether you're in law enforcement and you're in a training scenario, or if you're really out in the field conducting an arrest, or you get in a dangerous situation. I don't know any law enforcement that speaks at normal, normal level. I mean, it's always you raise your voice, you speak with force, show me your hands up, drop the gun, and you are giving a command. And you are giving a command because your life could be in jeopardy. And so I have a hard time believing no other cameras in that house picked up audio.
Yeah, definitely not. Especially knowing Steve, the father's a video security expert, and
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
all
she probably had the state of the art cameras in there because of what her father does and the fact that she's a cop.
right. Yeah, I mean, we've already seen some of the video. Two different videos have released. I wonder what else they have. I also have some sources. Like I said, my source months ago told me that this DVR, the video system, and the video would be coming to into play here. It would be a big part of this defense. That was before any video came out. Now there's been two videos. I'm like, okay, the source is telling me everything that's real here. Um, they're telling me there's going to be more about Justin specifically, and I also have another source that there's going to be more stuff about this cop Noonan. Both of them. There's going to be more things coming out. I don't know if it's going to be a trial or the next hearing or another filing. I have no idea how this stuff's going to come out, but I know some details about how both of these guys have acted in different situations. And would you be surprised by that? Do you expect that too? Does that sound
No, not at
realistic to
all.
you?
Look at what we just went through with Michael Proctor. The more and more and more that was exposed about Michael Proctor, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse to the point where his own union won't defend him. I mean, he dropped his appeal to get his job back because of everything that was found on this cloud.
I'm smiling right now because of this comment and the fact that you said the name Michael Proctor, actually, because it's funny. I want to spill it, but you are so, Jody, you are always on it. You are just,
Thank you.
I think when you see some of the testimony, you're going to be like, oh, Michael Proctor moment here. Because, I mean, it's definitely, that's what I'm hearing. It's going to be a Michael Proctor type moment. And it's going to be so eerily similar that people are going to be, what the F? Are you kidding me?
Well, and
That's
I
what this
think
looks like.
it looks like that, and here's why. Because whether you're talking about Karen Reed and what she went through, whether you're talking about Kelsey Fitzsimmons and even Sandra Birchmore, you've got blatant misogyny weaving through all of it. You have, I mean, here, if you look at these North Andover cops, they took the word of Justin and what he ran to the court and alleged over their colleague who's a police officer with them. They took the guy's word over hers. And then why were they allowed to go out and serve her with that restraining order? I think that was highly inappropriate.
Totally. I mean, why not have like Lawrence is right there? Why not have Lawrence PD or somebody
Right.
else, a mental health
Right.
counselor?
Don't have her embarrassed by having her own colleagues that she has a desk, right across the room from, come and serve her with a restraining order and take her infant child. Kelsey has been denied a year with her baby. That baby has not been able to be breastfed. It has not been able to bond with its mother. She has missed its first birthday. She's missed the baptism. I mean, you can't get that back.
Or yeah, you got to feel bad for that poor baby. He's missing his mom, He
Yeah, and
doesn't
then look at what his father's alleged to have done here. It's all on video.
exactly. I mean, speaking of that, because she's lost custody right now temporarily, they haven't even, like you said, even allow supervised visits, none of that. How do you think this video might come into play and all of this filing and what we know about him busting down that door might play into the custody going forward in family court?
Oh, I think family court's going to take a good hard look at that. Now, his attorney will argue, well, he's not facing charges. Well,
What if
I
what
think
if that
I
changes?
think what it does is it really puts into context the fact, well, and family court may have questions for him as well, just on his affidavit saying that I live at my parents' house. Well, then why are you going in her house and, recovering items? You don't have any right to things in that house. I mean, what do you need that badly? A pair of shorts and a t-shirt? I mean, that's ridiculous that he went to that house. He went in there, and the first thing he did on that video, which we all can see, is go down to the basement and engage in destruction of property and destroy the video cameras in the house.
Yeah, video camera, the alarm, even like, whatever that noisemaker was, like he destroyed
Right.
everything.
And
The
then
internet.
the three people with him, what about them? They don't have a right to be there.
Yeah. Two of them are firefighters, one from Haverhill and one from North Andover. The other one apparently it was his brother. Do you expect that they should face charges too, or are they just going to be the witnesses against Justin in this?
Well, I think it depends. I think they don't have a right to be there. They don't have a lawful right. And if they were with him when he took cash and or property, technically aren't they accessories?
Would seem that way. They
Hmm.
might have some legal liability.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the parents do too, with connection to that Wi-Fi.
Wow. I didn't think about the family. That could be. He's bringing
Hmm.
a lot of heat onto other people in his life, which is not good.
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, this is the mother of your children or your child. Um, you know, Clearly he doesn't understand that postpartum depression is not something that women can control or any woman wants. It just happens after giving birth to a child, your child, rather than weaponize that against her, which is, in my opinion, what a lot of people think he did. He used it against her. I think, quite frankly, at some point you got to say, okay, Justin, she's been shot. She's, clinging to life. Let's dial this down. This is the mother of your son. But to me, it comes across as extremely vengeful, extremely retaliatory. And frankly, I think he's got a lot more to worry about legally than she does. I think he's a bigger threat to society than Kelsey.
The more we learn, the more it seems that way.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, look, you can watch that tape. You can watch that tape. And granted, he's innocent until proven guilty, but that tape says a lot. It's right there. And then, according to the affidavit submitted by Kelsey's father to the court, he went to Kelsey's home like a day or two after he had installed that new camera system. And he gets to the door and he realizes someone's broken in here. Well, he yells to the cop who's nearby, and suddenly Justin appears. Justin's there. And he says, "Oh, no, it was me. I did that." So Justin admitted it to Kelsey's father, and he submitted an affidavit to the court.
wild.
It's absolutely unbelievable. But I
It
mean,
really is.
how can any woman in Massachusetts feel safe with the way law enforcement has behaved, not only in Essex County, Norfolk County, Town of Canton, Stoughton? I mean, it is just rampant there. And it's just the men are believed and the prosecutors turn a blind eye.
Yeah, there's a feeling in a lot of these towns too. Like I live in a town, even some of the surrounding towns around us, it's like 99% men, the police departments. Like there was one woman officer in my town and then she left.
Yeah, and
Like
they're
I
the
don't know if they
token
have one
ones.
now, but it's like 80, like 50 to 80 men or whatever on the police department and no women. And every once in a while they have one and then they leave. And it's like they can't.
Mhm.
It's there's a problem. It's just, especially I think the cities are a little more diverse, but the towns, these smaller towns, it's
Mhm.
really kind of just this white male cop thing, and that's it. That's who's the
Mhm.
cops. Nobody else. And they stick together. And the same even with the fire departments, and it seems like the reason they believe Justin so much is because Justin had been there longer than Kelsey had. That's another aspect of this, besides the misogyny, which I agree with. I think that this is a male thing. They don't like women, but they also don't like newbies. It's also this thing where Kelsey was new. He had been around a little longer, and it's like nativism. If you've been there a little while, you're more part of the clique. You're more part of the culture. They'll protect you. There's a feeling like that, like seniority. And the more seniority you have, the more you get away with. I don't know what to do about that. That's just something I've noticed. Here's a good comment right here. I want to ask you about this. Valhalla says the judge may not be able to appoint a special prosecutor, but certainly he can conflict the DA off the case. Do you think that's an option they should go for?
I think so. I do think so. I think that's a very good possibility. Yeah.
The problem with that, I would think, is that it's going to move the case back, like the trial, because it seems like Breda wants this to go in March. The looking at the trial this month, March 1st today.
Well, sure, because this, if a jury acquits, then Kelsey can get her baby back. Time is of the essence. She's lost a year with that boy.
So I guess that's the question. Do they just go forward with it as is?
Well, quite honestly, here's the thing. They're going to wipe the floor with the prosecution if they show this video. And, Kelsey's dad gets up to testify and Kelsey gets up to testify. So I think it's going to be very, very, very hard to convict Kelsey of assault. And let's face it, that assault charge statutorily under the sentencing guidelines, she could be looking at a year's probation. That's it.
No, it's nothing. It's a nothing charge in the end.
Yeah.
Do you want to play the video real quick just to see,
Sure.
kind of look
Show
at it again?
everybody what
Some
we're
people
talking
haven't seen
about.
it. Some people have seen it. And maybe you might note some things that some of us miss because you are, like I said, a retired FBI agent. This is what you did. You look at evidence. Let's throw it up on the screen. We have it here.
So there he goes, breaking in.
Yeah, he even dropped his glasses, it looks like. That was like a pretty strong.
Oh, yeah. That's
Look at
forced. That's a forced entry.
Eyes and then
Looks like
boom.
he kicked it with his shoulder and his foot.
Yeah.
So
wouldn't be
tell
a
me, if the police gave him permission, where's the police escort?
Yeah, there's no police escort. They wouldn't have let him knock down the door like that.
No.
I also say he wouldn't be a very good wrestler because his legs are crossed. If you know too, North Andover has a great wrestling team. Let me just say, the high school wrestling team, phenomenal. One of my the assistant coach I had my senior year, he was like the best North Andover wrestler of all time, and he would not be happy about this cross leg thing.
Okay, got his shades. Here come the cohorts,
here come the guys.
the accessories to breaking and entering. None of these men are on the deed to the house, is my understanding.
Nope.
None of them live there. And Justin has submitted a court affidavit claiming he lives at his parents'. Now you can see them going down directly to the basement, which is where my understanding is the surveillance system and the router may have been.
Exactly. That was all down there. Internet router, surveillance system, and the security, alarm.
Now, this is not collecting his items. Remember, the whole purpose was I told the cops I have to go get my stuff. Well, then why is the router damaged? Why is the camera system damaged?
Yeah, I think it's because I think he's going to claim that it's because it was going off. It was making noise. He didn't want the police to come out. I don't know. I think that's what his excuse is going to be. But does that pass muster? Well, how do you think a jury will hear that one?
No, nobody's going to believe that.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, he shuts it down. You can see the last thing you can see is
Yeah,
his
there's
hand.
his hand
Yeah,
over it.
there you go.
Well, look, I have indoor cameras, and I mean, you can take the camera down from its little stand or wall anchor without damaging it, take the batteries out, and you're not physically damaging the system. You're just taking out a battery. So to me, I'm wondering, those probably were hardwired, and he probably just ripped them out and destroyed the wiring within the cameras.
Totally. I have a comment I want to read to you too that I want you to comment on. Somebody who like this is one of my source who's very close to this. They said one of the most important facts are Sunday before the Monday shooting, Justin went to the house alone to get all his clothes, his weapons, and different personal belongings. The only thing he left was some tools in the basement and some crap in the driveway that belonged to him. His four wheeler. Uh, that was the guy in fear for his life. Kelsey was there with the baby for 3 days. He never called the police. He never called child services for those 3 days. Kelsey had the baby, and you know the story the day after. So basically, they're saying that, he files this restraining order, but then he goes and gets his stuff without the police there, and then he lets the baby stay with Kelsey for 3 more days.
Yeah, he wasn't that worried about the baby's welfare during 72 hours.
Or even his own welfare to go back and get his stuff from the house.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I understand he was trying to get child support from her and wanting her to sell this home and use the equity in the home to pay him. I mean, it is just unbelievable what has all gone on for Kelsey in the past 13 months, 12 months. Just unbelievable. And when I look at the in the court filings, they have a list of all the different things that were accessed on her laptop. One of them was the beneficiaries to, I believe it was her pension account.
Right.
And to me, I think that is really, really egregious, because that tells me he didn't think she was going to live. And he wanted to make sure he inherited that pension.
And, at that time, when he broke in that day, the family was thinking the same thing about Kelsey, like hoping that she was going to, survive this and not sure she would. And looking at those types of things, the family was actually considering those things, healthcare proxies and all that other stuff that goes along when you have somebody that might not make it and they have a baby. And so the fact that he went in there, it's pretty sick, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, now I believe the baby has a guardian ad litem assigned to the baby, looking out for the best interest of the child. What's in the best interest of the child? I would certainly hope that guardian ad litem would make an issue of this to the court. That, hey, at this point, it doesn't appear that Justin and his parents, given their exposure here, the fact that the laptop was connected to their Wi-Fi, I would hope that guardian ad litem on behalf of the baby would notify the court that at this time his family and Justin are not suitable to have custody. That's what I would hope.
Yeah, I might think that's going to happen now. Yeah, we have some more, if anyone has any questions or comments, you can definitely make them in the chat. I know I have some up here that I want to make sure I ask. Yeah, I mean, this is what I just want to make sure we correct this to, according to Bradel, because we talked about this a couple times. According to Bradel, who heard the recording with the police, the cops didn't give him permission at all. They basically said, do whatever, but it's nothing to do with us, dude.
Okay, so that's different. I mean, he may have said, I talked to the cops, but the cops, I mean, that's why I said at the beginning, what cop has the right to give anyone permission to break into your home? No one. That's,
Right.
Completely just inconceivable to me. So I think, there's going to be, he's in a world of hurt, in my opinion. And that's just at the state level. And like I said, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the FBI got involved, because there are serious federal offenses here, in my opinion, as well.
And this is kind of eerie to bring up, but it does come up. Queen of the Pool says, doesn't it look like he orchestrated all of this hoping she would pass?
Well,
It's a tough one, right? I mean, we can't really say. We don't know.
well, he would have to, that would involve a conspiracy with Noonan. And why would Noonan risk his future and his pension and his livelihood? When you're in law enforcement and you're involved in any sort of shooting, even if it's a just shooting, you're under an investigation while they do the shooting review. And that is very, very stressful. So I don't see Noonan really orchestrating something, a premeditated shooting. That I think is a bit too far. But I do think Justin was orchestrating to cause Kelsey some hurt. He knew that baby meant the world to her, and that, she was finally getting on her feet, and he was trying to make her hurt. That's my read on all of this.
And I also wonder if he didn't want to pay child support,
Well,
maybe
and that's a big thing. Yeah, that's a very big thing. Yeah, I cared more about money than, denying his son time to bond with his mother.
Right. Yeah, they said the cops asked if he had a key, if he lived there, then he could go in. He had lied to them about living there and then broke down the door with the friends. It's tough to know. Like Bradel, he couched what he said. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what the cops actually said, because it sounds like Bradel has a recording that we didn't get to hear. So it will be actually interesting to see what is up on that.
I'd also like to know, does the North Andover Firefighters Association, do they have a union, or is there any sort of candor cause in his contract with the local fire department? Because if he's got a recording where he's talking to the cops and he says, well, I live there, I got stuff there, but then we have this affidavit in the family court, I think that really raises lack of candor there. And how can you be a public official when you're not truthful?
Yes. I want to bring this one up because we kind of talked about misogyny a few times. I said some things about local towns, but you were in the FBI. You were a woman in the FBI, which I feel like the FBI probably has some of the same issues, maybe not to the extreme of some of these small towns.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Female cops are not treated the same as male cops in smaller towns. What was your experience in the FBI, being a woman in the FBI?
Oh, I experienced all of it. But it's not everybody. I'd say 50% were fantastic and loved working with me, or would champion me and speak highly about my abilities. And the other half, quite frankly, they're threatened by any woman that's smarter than them, that outperforms them, that challenges them. Even if you do it diplomatically, they don't want to be made to feel less smart, less accomplished. And it's a boys' club. It just is. And, that's just how you're treated doing your job. That doesn't even begin to go into all the sexual harassment that men get away with in the FBI or in law enforcement. There's been very famous cases filed by female agents in training at Quantico, by females at FBI headquarters against some of our top officials. And so, it does exist, and it's tough. You have got to have a very, very thick skin.
How do you deal with that? Like you say, thick skin. How
It's
do you cope with that?
very easy to figure out, first of all, whether you're a male or a female in the FBI. It doesn't take you long to figure out which agents actually make cases and put points on the board. who has the big cases, the long trials, the successful cases where you get a lot of forfeitures, a lot of recoveries, a lot of arrests, seizures, etc. It's not hard to figure out, who the home run hitters are. You just know, just like you do on a baseball team, you know who your talent is. And, it's very easy when you try to be diplomatic and you try to say, hey, did you think about this? Or, hey, I did this on a previous case. This worked for me. And when they blow you off, then you just know, all right, well, you're kind of a tool. I'm not going to waste my time on you. And you just kind of know who to avoid or who to look out for or who you need to watch even more, because if they're on a search for you or an arrest, they could end up being your problem child. So you kind of, in my experience, you gravitate towards the ones who want to work with you and who do respect you and treat you as an equal. And I have to say, as my career progressed, 22 years, towards, I'd say the last 5 years or so, a lot of the younger agents, they were so much less misogynistic. They had wives who were doctors and dentists and attorneys and teachers and nurses, and and they respected their wives and their careers just as much as what they were doing. And they were like, not only does she work and she works hard, but she's this amazing mother, and I am just the luckiest guy ever to have her. I mean, you could really see the generational shift in attitude. So I found that encouraging. I often found the younger agents wonderful to work with.
That's awesome to hear.
Mhm.
And when you said that about the points on the board, it reminded me of my days at AIG, where I was a financial advisor, and a lot of us new reps would get this kind of attitude from the older reps, and there was that kind of attitude too. It was like male oriented, and a lot of the newer reps were women, and they would put up the points and then they'd shut the hell up. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden, like we'd
Mhm.
be I'd be one of the ones, at the top, and there was a woman named Andrea who came in with me. Like some of them wouldn't work with the women, and I'm like, I'll do a deal with them. I love to work with them. Like it's just, and then you put up the points, and they kind of have to shut up because you're proven as a hard worker, producer. So
Well,
it's
and
funny how volume matters. Like your results kind of
mhm.
shuts the idiots up a little bit.
I mean, look, to me, and this is the biggest joke amongst a lot of the female agents. It's like, look, if you have a female FBI agent who puts points on the board, makes cases time after time after time, and, I was in 3 different field offices. I made cases in all 3 of my divisions. There was no question that I made cases. So the joke is, if you've got an agent that not only makes cases, but she's also a mother and juggles all that on top of it, and, gets her kids to baseball and softball and everything else. You talk about multitasking and handling pressure day after day after day. I mean, a lot of the guys I worked with, their wives cleaned the house and they got the kids to and from school, and they were doing the homework and bathing the kids at night and packing the lunches and getting the oil changed and writing out the bills and doing the wash. Guys weren't doing it. Female agents were. They were doing all of it
And still working.
and
I mean, that's
still
the key.
working and making, in my opinion, if I had to pick 10 agents to work whatever big case I'm assigned, at least half of them would be female agents, because they get more done in the workday. They manage their time better because they're used to having to juggle so much at one time.
Facts.
Mhm.
I mean, if my girlfriend's listening right now, she's probably like ready to get mad because she does wait. I try to keep up with housework, but she's a force. She gets a lot done around here. Like I'm just like, God damn, sit down. Stop doing laundry. Stop.
Well, and
I don't
like I
know.
said, though, I'd say 50%. 50% of the guys were wonderful. They were supportive husbands. They were supportive coworkers. There was no misogyny. I was on the evidence response team, and there were a lot of men on the evidence response team that were wonderful to work with. Some of my best friends in the FBI were on the evidence response team. And, you know, to be on the evidence response team, you have to be really type A, because you could be looking at a huge house and the whole case could hinge on collecting one hair, you know, that sort of thing. So you're talking about very tedious, very specific, monotonous kind of work. And those guys were wonderful to work with because they appreciated people who were focused in on detail. And so, you know, like I said, a lot of them were great. They're not all bad. So I don't want to come off as if all the guys were horrible, because they weren't. And as I said, the younger generation, I thought they were much, much kinder to work with than the guys in my generation and older.
Which were old, like, would you say Gen X is your gen? I'm guessing. Is that
Yeah,
what you are?
I'm
You're
56.
like me? Yeah, you're
So,
like me. We're almost exactly the same.
yeah.
Gen X, yeah. I'd say like it's funny because I think I'm hearing the real younger generation is actually reverting back to the bottom of the barrel, unfortunately. So it's funny how it swings, it goes back and forth, you know.
Cyclical.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, this comment came up tonight, and I don't know how accurate it is, but there was something that definitely happened with one woman who filed suit
Hmm.
against the North Andover Police Department. One female officer. They have had some issues with other female police officers within this North Andover Police before Kelsey. Do you think that if you were Tim Bradle, are you going to make that an issue in this case or not? Is it just so straightforward you don't need that stuff? Or do you put the North Andover Police in the kind of the misogyny on, on trial? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. It depends. Was her case adjudicated? Was it settled? What were the allegations? Is it relevant? You know, I don't know. I mean, if you can go that far out, I'm not sure it's pertinent to what happened with Kelsey. Um,
Good.
it's just too hard to say without knowing more specifics. But
Definitely.
certainly it's interesting.
It
It,
is.
it, it shows that there is another female, at least one other female that also, you know, I mean, when you're working in that environment, you know that if you complain and you speak up and you file something officially, you got a target on your back. They are going to retaliate against you. You just know that you got to expect that. And so the fact that there was another female that stood up, that is significant. Now, whether or not her case had merit or not, I don't know. But I mean, that's a bold step to take.
And there was also an incident with Noonan. This question came up about Noonan. Why did Noonan have gloves on when they served Kelsey? People think that's weird. The other officers didn't. But with Noonan and Kelsey, just months before this incident, they were partners. They responded to a scene of a horrific
Mhm.
mother-baby suicide. Um, a horrific incident. And apparently they got really no help, like no mental health counseling. It was just like, take the rest of the night off. Here's a free pizza type deal. Come back to work tomorrow. Do you think that will that come into play? Is that possibly
I
something that
think
Bradle could
so.
bring up in the trial?
I think so. Because, you know, how can you work something like that, see something like that, and then you're in that bedroom and she grabs a gun? How can they both not be thinking about that? So I do think that may come up.
Yeah, the mental health. It seems like mental health of police officers gets ignored a
Oh,
lot,
it
and that
totally
makes it.
does. It totally does. And it's very sad because a lot of law enforcement officers, the rate of suicide, and to include male suicide within law enforcement, is very high. And a lot of times you see it in clusters. And being a cop or being in law enforcement, it's considered a macho profession. So saying I'm emotionally impacted by what I saw, or I'm not able to come back to work, I'm depressed, I have anxiety, that's seen as a sign of weakness by many. So many people just shut up and try to grin and bear it, and then that can have negative consequences.
100%. And it seems like from a lot of the reports, again, kind of off the record stuff I'm hearing, that this police force, this police chief specifically has that kind of attitude, like we're just tough guys. We don't need that. We just move on. And that's kind of the top to bottom mentality within that police department.
Hmm. I believe it.
Shannon says 50% is still way too much. I was thinking that too when you said that. It's great that half of them are okay, but then
I may be being
50% is a
generous.
big number,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I may be being generous. I don't know. It's just the people are either great or they're not. There's just no real wiggle room for in between. Now, keep in mind, the FBI, we're all type A people. So do you want to go have a beer with everybody you work with? No, you don't. You don't like everybody, but that doesn't mean that they're misogynistic or that they're a jerk. It's just, maybe they're just not your personality or not somebody you want to hang out with. But there are definitely those that, don't want to work with females, don't think females should be FBI agents, don't think that females are as tactically as sound as the male agents are. There's a lot of that. Physical fitness comes into it, especially after you've given birth. It's like, well, when are you getting back to the range? When are you going to start carrying again? You shouldn't be breastfeeding. You need to get back out and shoot. You need to train. So there's a lot of that goes on.
Gonna be tough. It's already a tough profession. To add all that on top of it, it just can't be easy.
I remember when I was pregnant with my twins, I was assigned to the Norfolk, Virginia office of the FBI at the time. And we had a female special agent in charge. And there were, it was a very small office, maybe 65 to 70 agents total in the whole division. And there were about 6 or 7 of us female agents that were all pregnant at the same time. We were all about the same age, all having our first kids. And we were so lucky to have a female special agent in charge. She got us basically a room where if we needed to go nurse, while we were pregnant, if we just needed to go lay down for, 10, 15 minutes, just kind of because it's a lot to be pregnant. She was wonderful to us. But there are other offices, there was no way we would have gotten that.
Something I wouldn't even think of, honestly, and I'm not trying to, that's why you need, I think, women in leadership, because when you bring up things like that were done to head like me, I'd be like, oh, okay. If I was in leadership, I'd be like, let's do that. Let's allow that. But like us guys don't even think like that because we've never experienced it. You know what I mean? So.
Well, yeah. And if you're lucky, you get 3 months maternity leave, but then you have to come back to work. Well, a lot of women who breastfeed, they're still pumping at that point. So you have to have somewhere to go pump. So, the fact that there was no place in this office, I just remember my special agent in charge was just like, that is not okay. We're changing that. So, and we were so lucky because there were so many of us that were pregnant at the same time. And she really, really accommodated us. And, the one thing I do remember is I was about 5 days away from my due date with twins. And one of the other female agents who I'm still friends with to this day, Leah, she was pregnant with her first child. And we were about a week apart in our due dates. And we were at the U.S. Attorney's Office getting cases ready for a trial as soon as we were back from maternity leave. And I remember at the U.S. Attorney's Office, how the male U.S. attorneys were like, oh my gosh, you two, you just work so hard. The male agents just have no idea. And we got more support from the U.S. attorneys than we did from some of our own colleagues. So it's just really interesting.
We have a comment here to comment on this. Crazy by Night says there has to be a reason no charges are being filed other than he is a witness. Can you think of any other reason beyond that? I don't see any other reason.
Well, it depends. Is there any sort of family conflict or family relationship, or, did the DA go to high school with one of the parents, or, is there any sort of connection that way where a favor would be called in or something like that? It's hard to say.
I always think about the DA being a former police chief in Salem, might know the other police chief in North Andover and want to help him out, maybe.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, usually blue bleeds blue. You try to look out for, if you're a former cop, you try to look out, for the other law enforcement, but you don't turn a blind eye to something like we just saw in that video. To me, I can't believe that the state bar would be okay with that.
We still have this question. I don't think we answered. Do you think it's weird that Noonan had gloves on going into the house?
On June 30th? Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, was he dressed in his official uniform?
I think so. It looked like it. Yeah.
Still, usually, what kind of gloves? Search gloves?
They look like little black gloves, almost like leather gloves.
Like shooting gloves.
Yeah. It's almost about my stepfather used to be like he if he had his dream, he would have raced cars. Okay. So like when we used to get into his car, he would put on the driving gloves and be like it's like
I gotta
like he was driving.
The way you say car is like I could listen to it all day long.
His car. Yeah. But it was like he was driving in the NASCAR or the F-150 cars. It was like that's what it reminded me of Noonan. It was like he had his driving gloves on, or I don't know, maybe his shooting gloves.
No, that's weird. It
is weird. And none of the other cops had the gloves on. That's what people noticed. I mean, the other thing too is like he's so much bigger than her. He's a big man.
Well, she
is very tiny.
She's tiny girl or young lady. Yeah. So no, and if she was reloading, you mean you couldn't have overpowered her and
that's what I'm saying.
Away from her? We're all trained in defensive tactics. Yeah. Or used your pepper spray, or used an aspeton, or used a taser.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm average. I'm like 5'10". I was a wrestler, but still, like that would take 2 seconds. Like not even like a second. Like she's little. And this guy's a giant. He's a big man. Like he's way bigger than me. So like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't get that. That's what I don't get. What do you think about the fire department? Should they be investigating these firefighters? Yeah.
That's what I said. Do they have a union? What are their policies? Is there lack of candor there? Is there ethical? What sort of policies do they have? I would absolutely, and I'd want to know who are the other firefighters that were allegedly with them? What departments do they work for? Do they have unions?
I'm going to have to call some of them. Haverhill and North Andover, my source says. Queen of the Pool says we could FOIA the call to the police by Justin. We could, but I don't think they're going to give it to us until the trial's over. It's evidence.
Right. Well, like I said, Bradle's going to bring all this. If this goes forward March 23rd trial for Kelsey.
Yes. Yep, March 23rd.
He's going to show all this. You can't believe a word this guy says, and here's why. Hit play, and then he's going to play that video.
Exactly. And then he's going to show up showing that the phone call where he says he still lives there. Then he's going to show the restraining order. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shows he said he moved to his parents' in Stowe 3 or 4 days before.
And don't forget, jurors are your local citizens. They're going to be sitting there watching all this, and they're going to get ticked. Because this young mother has been torn away from her child for a year. And they're going to think, like normal jurors do, that their tax dollars are being wasted on this prosecution. That's the way jurors think.
Totally. I was talking to, before court started that day, I went into a local Marshall's. Do you have, you must know Marshall's, right? Mm-hmm. Marshall's is national, yeah. So I went into a Marshall's. I was buying some clothes, and I told the lady, I'm going. She's like, well, how you doing today? What are you doing? I told her where I was going to court, and she was all into it. Like she was like, Kelsey's got to get her baby back, and I was just like, wow,
Yes.
people are tuned in. Like the lady,
Well,
scanning my
people
clothes, she
break
knew.
up all the time. You don't deny your baby 100% access to their mother, especially during that first year when she could have been breastfeeding, when they could have been bonding. That is vital for any newborn.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing that's just crushing. The first 2 years are the
It's
most important.
cruel. It is so cruel. And I think if the prosecution doesn't recognize that, how that's, I mean, you get any reasonable guy on that jury and any woman, especially mothers, oh, forget it. Forget it. You get any guy raised by a single mother, they're not going to have any sympathy for Justin.
Yeah. This is the big conflict I always think about. And it never comes up. I don't think it ever can come up. But do you think the state has more reason to cover this up because the state will be open up for yet another civil lawsuit from Kelsey and her son? Not just the state, the North Andover Police Department, too, specifically, I think is the one that would
That's
have
who
the
I think.
biggest issue.
Yes. 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 I think so.
I wonder.
Especially because with Noonan now, I mean, I think they're doing a good job asking, all right, well, what was his situation when he was AWOL a couple weeks ago on January 11th? And why was he allowed to do special details and still get paid? Why is this? And didn't they even, if I recall in that motion, they even had the union violation that was being violated.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder about he used to work in Lawrence, like the night shift. Lawrence is like, North Andover's a nicer town compared to Lawrence, more city. It's had more crime issues in the past. And if he worked that second shift, that night shift, I just wonder if he had any incidents in his,
3 to
discipline
11.
record.
That's the hot zone shift.
Yeah. I mean, and Lawrence is one of those towns that you'd see it on Cops, the show Cops. Haverhill's another one, back in the day that, a lot of drug trade going on. I don't know if it's still like that, but it's one of those cities where, all the other affluent towns, if they had addicts, they would drive to Lawrence to get their fix, a lot of street dealers. I just wonder if he doesn't have, some issues from that time. I wonder if he doesn't have any disciplinary records. I FOIA'd him. They never got back. I should hit him up again. But I just wonder if Radel doesn't have some info we don't know about there.
I bet you he does. And I think when you add Martha to the mix, she's got the juice. She really knows. I mean, if there's any sort of legal avenue to pursue, she's going to bring it.
Yeah, I was watching her. I love Martha, actually. It's so funny because one day, I found out, I think it's her husband, but he drives. Like, he usually parks the SUV there. And she brought the two dogs with her. So, like, he opens up the SUV. These two friendly dogs come bouncing out. And I was just like, oh, my God, I love her. She brings her dogs with her. She's like, that's what I would do if my husband or wife were driving me. And, it's funny as hell. But she's very good. Like I was watching her even in the sidebars and she was talking to that judge. I don't know what was being said, but
she was
very
setting that judge straight. I
mean,
she was saying, let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
And, and given the position that she formerly had, that judge is going to give her the respect that she deserves. And they're going to listen. Because no judge wants any ruling to go up on appeal. I mean, that's, they don't want that. They want to make their ruling and they want it to stand. And if it does go up on appeal, they want it to be supported by the appellate court. And if it goes all the way to the Supreme Court of the state or the Supreme Judicial Board, I think it is in Massachusetts, they want it to be upheld all the way up in case it's challenged. So I think she's probably really laying down and articulating the law in a very common sense, matter of fact fashion.
It's funny, at one point, Bradel was doing a lot of the talking at the hearing, and the judge said, if any of the other defense attorneys want to speak, you don't have to ask for permission. She looked right at him. She's like, oh, trust me, you don't have to worry about that. Like, she was just like, I'm ready if I need to say
Oh
anything.
yeah, she
He's
was
doing
ready to
great.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we all laughed because we're like, yeah, Martha's not going to ask for permission. She doesn't. I mean, it's funny to see these judges, like, because they all know who she is, obviously, but they don't make a big deal out of it. But that's what I always try to watch, to, kind of get the feeling what's not said. You kind of just get
Right.
a feeling that they're looking at. Feel like all these judges are looking at the crowd there and the fact that Martha Coakley's there, and they're just like
Well, and
on their
I
best
also think
behavior.
these judges, let's face it, nobody there is living in a vacuum. They've all known all the controversy surrounding Karen Reed. They know about Aiden's case. They know about even Brian Walsh. They know about Miles King. They know about all the discovery issues. And really, when you look at that hearing on Friday, it was, hey, where's the discovery they claim they knew about these security camera videos? What sort of conversations and interviews did you have with Justin if you knew about this? What discovery hasn't been turned over? That's been a huge problem in Massachusetts. The way that some of these prosecutors go years without turning over mandatory discovery. And some of it, like look at Michael Proctor, some of it was exculpatory. Some of it was racist. Some of it allegedly contained names of sexual assault victims. I mean, it sounds horrendous what was on his phone, his personal phone.
Be interested to see if something similar comes out against some of these cops and firefighters. We're with Jodene Webber. She's got a website, jodenewebber.com, WBER. JodeneWebber.com is the website. You have a book called The Bald Face Deception. Everyone covers up something. We've been promoting that. I definitely love the book, that it also raises proceeds for 911 survivors, 9/11 survivors. You're one of them. Can you tell us about the book for people that maybe haven't read it yet? A lot of the
Sure.
people in the chat have already bought it and read it. Some were actually, when we announced you were coming back on the show, they were like, I'm waiting for the book to arrive. This is perfect time that she's coming back. Can you tell people about your book again?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a murder mystery set in the Finger Lakes of New York. But essentially, one of the characters in the book is a journalist, and I based her on myself. She's a 9/11 responder, and she has lost her hair due to her toxin exposure at one of the 9/11 crime scenes. And I've had a lot of health issues due to my exposure at the Pentagon for 16 days. And in 2016, when I was due to have some very, very serious surgeries, my hair started to thin and started to fall out. And I found that I was worried as much about my hair as I was about being able to walk again and other physical issues. And so I put that in the story, in this murder mystery that's very suspenseful. It's a whodunit. It will keep you guessing until the end. But I put that in there so that people could become aware not only of what 9/11 responders who have lived, what they're going through with up to 300 different medical issues caused by the toxins, but also to raise awareness amongst the public as to your danger and your exposure when you're in a fire zone, when you're in a hurricane zone, if you're in any of these areas hit with these natural disasters, or if you're in a crime scene, if you have a building collapse, anything like that, you need to take precautions because you could inhale or absorb through your skin those toxins and could sustain medical issues down the road, just like I did and many 9/11 responders did. So it's really just to spread public awareness. And it's for anyone who loves a great, good, suspenseful murder mystery. It's being shopped around right now for film and television. It's kind of got a wink and a nod to Wait Until Dark, if you're familiar with that stage play or the movie with Audrey Hepburn. There's a lot of parallels to that story. So if you like mystery suspense, I think you'll enjoy it. I also have my podcast, Caught in My Web. That's 5 days a week on Patreon. I cover all the major true crime news. Right now we're covering Kelsey's case. We're covering Nancy Guthrie, the Corey Richens trial. So you can find that on patreon.com.
We also have a bunch of products too for home security. If you scroll down the front page, I love this because we talked about this before, home security. Because a lot of people do live alone now, a lot of older people living alone. So you have the Saber Lipstick pepper spray we talked about. There's a lot of different ways you can protect yourself. And you have a lot of good products on there people can also buy.
Yeah.
Caught in the Web. You do this every day? You do it every day now?
Well, yes. I actually do 22 episodes a month, 5 days a week. And then every other Saturday at the bonus catch level is a cold case. I'll look at a cold case and give analysis on it. So yeah, 5 days a week, every morning I drop an episode, and it's kind of like having a dateline every day is the way my subscribers describe it. And in a way, I've created this huge community of true crime fans who have gotten to know each other through commenting on different episodes. We have a chat going during trials where people who are streaming and watching a trial as it's going on can enter their comments. We have a special Facebook group, Caught in My Web True Crime Discussion, where we post all sorts of court documents and updates on true crime cases. And it's now gotten so big that people recognize each other as being fellow subscribers to my podcast, that they are going out to dinners together. They're forming book clubs together. They get together to watch trials together. They watch Dateline together on Friday nights. There's been some real friendships that have been born through my podcast. So in a way, it's kind of been this just wonderful thing I never envisioned when I started recording a podcast.
Phenomenal. I feel the same way with my little chat here, my little crew. It's
yes,
great.
you have your regulars. That's what I have. And they're just
awesome.
Wonderful. And we're a really good community. We really try to stay away from politics. I mean, sometimes it's a little hard, you know, especially like when there's some sort of like mass shooting towards a politician, then of course we have to cover that, or Epstein files. We've had to cover that a little bit. Charlie Kirk was a little.
Charlie Kirk. That was a tough one.
But really, we really try to stay more on the murder mysteries, the kidnappings, the disappearance cases. That's really our focus. If it's something that would be on Dateline, that's pretty much what I cover. And then I'm really known primarily as well for my Karen Reed coverage, my Brian Koberger coverage. All those episodes are still on the feed. When you subscribe, you get all 840 back episodes. And a lot of people that didn't watch, say, trial 1 of Karen Reed go back and they listen to it and they're like, oh my gosh, I never knew this. I only watched Body in the Snow. I didn't know all this other side. And so it's really fun if you like criminal trials to follow along and to hear my analysis as to what is good, what's bad, what I think of a witness, what the strategy is, what mistakes are made, is there any impeachment, that sort of thing.
Awesome. You mentioned Karen Reed. Anything you think relevant, new to bring up
Heard
on
she got
Karen
her
Reed?
phones back.
Yes.
That's huge.
Has she officially got them back though? Yeah. Has she actually got him back though? That's the key. I don't know if the ruling went in her favor, but I don't know if
I don't know if she's physically, that's a good point, Mike. I don't know if she physically has her hands on them, but I know she won that.
He's still trying to hold on to him. Cosgrove is still trying to, he can't get at him. That's the bottom line. The judge turned Cosgrove down, but I don't, it's weird. Someone asked, have you spoken on the Mara Murray case? I don't know.
Yes. If you go, in fact, I just did my episode on Saturday was an update on Maura Murray. We just, of course, hit I believe it's the 22-year anniversary of her disappearance in February. But on my weekend level, my very first 2 episodes I did of that on cold cases were all on Maura Murray. And I talk a lot about how I think her bulimia played into her taking off. and why she fled town. She had all these stressors. And I think the bulimia was part of the reason she took off. She wanted to get away. She wanted to binge. She wanted to purge. That was how she relieved her stress. And then I think she had that car accident. And that's where I think things went sideways. So I go into Maura Murray. I just gave an update on her. They're using not only facial recognition in the last couple of years, but they're also using this ground radar system to look for disturbances in the topography, which would suggest they're looking to see if she was potentially buried somewhere. And of course, her sister Julie's been possibly the biggest advocate for Maura, to keep her name out there, to keep her face out there, to keep people talking about her. And my understanding is her sister Julie believes her case can be solved. It's just that law enforcement needs more resources.
There's a lot of these old missing cases. I got one in my town of a young kid, a death.
Is it Molly Bish?
Well, there's Molly Bish too. I mean, there's a lot of unsolved, murders and cases out there.
Mm-hmm.
What about, there's also right now Nancy Guthrie, who's still missing. What do you think about this? Because now the sheriff has basically said no parking, media can't park here anymore. And now there's like Iran going on. And so those two things happening all at once. Now the media's cleared out in front of Nancy Guthrie's house,
Mm-hmm.
except like a couple outlets still kicking around, but most of the media has left. Is that good for Nancy Guthrie and her family and the neighbors, or is that bad for the chances that this is going to get solved?
I think it's actually good. I think once the media goes away, I think that's when people start to come out of the woodwork a little bit more. I think law enforcement's still going to work this, whether the media is there or not. They are scaling down. They can't keep all detectives in Pima County assigned to Nancy Guthrie. There's other crimes going on that need attention. They're piling up on the desks. So they have to limit the Pima County resources. My understanding that the FBI, they still have a core group that's in Tucson with additional assistance back at Phoenix headquarters in Arizona. That's where all the analysts and agents can review that multitude of videos that have come in. You can do all that remotely. You don't necessarily have to be in Tucson. And of course, looking at the data, the cell phone data, the videos, all the records that have been subpoenaed or there have been search warrants for, I think the analysis can take place in Phoenix, and then any key development or lead can be funneled to the team in Tucson for them to run out on the ground with boots on the ground investigation.
Last time you were on, we talked about several scenarios where it could, number one, it could be a burglary gone wrong. It could be a stalker of Savannah Guthrie. Have your thoughts changed on this with any new information, or is it kind of the same? What do you think?
I do find that vehicle that was identified the other night that went by the nearby adjoining neighborhood, like essentially if you drive out of Nancy's neighborhood, cross over a major thoroughfare road and go into the other neighborhood, there's a back way out. It's like a circuitous route out of the neighborhood that avoids the major intersections. And that house that had a Ring camera was approximately 7-minute drive from Nancy's. And this car went by at 2:36 a.m. Now that's significant because we know that Nancy's pacemaker disconnected to the Apple network at approximately 2:28. So I think that video is very significant to look at that, identify the vehicle. Now there has been a report from a quote unquote source that the FBI has looked at that vehicle and eliminated it. I'll believe that when I hear that from the FBI. I really don't trust these single sources that are giving leaks to the media and various outlets. I think anytime you have a video at that time of night, either that's potentially a suspect vehicle or it's a material witness. They're in the area. Did they see any other vehicles? Who did they see? Did they see anybody on an ATV, on a quad, on a golf cart, anything? We've all been looking for cars thinking, well, the cars all have SIM cards in them. The SIM cards will connect to routers. Maybe we can identify a vehicle that way. Well, we don't even know for sure that they had a car. They could have had an ATV for all we know and driven it up and down the road. So we also see that video of that subject on the front porch. And to me, it looks like there's some sort of antenna sticking out of his jacket pocket. So I really do think this perpetrator didn't use a cell phone or bring a cell phone with him. I consider it a him. I think he possibly had a walkie-talkie and was radioing to an associate in the neighborhood who had some sort of vehicle to either pick him up or to help him. So I think that's something too they're going to look at.
Wow, that would indicate accomplices.
Right. So
Do
back
you
to your
think that
initial
means
question,
like
is it
organized
burglary?
crime? Yeah,
Is it burglary or is it targeted?
that's right. What do you think
I
in that
think,
case?
well, I think those are the top two theories.
Right.
I don't buy into any of the conspiracies about Epstein
Yeah.
or political sides one way or the other. I think all those ransom letters that came into the various media outlets, I think that's a completely separate extortion attempt by scammers.
That's why I stopped covering that. At first, I was kind of like bringing that into the show, and then I realized like that's a scam. That's
So
just these
here's
scammers out there.
my lead theory. Here's what I think. I think this most likely, based on what we saw on that video of the subject, to me, it looked like there's clear premeditation. They come with their arm, they've got a ski mask on, they've got a big backpack with something inside that backpack. I think it's an additional backpack with possibly supplies in an additional backpack. But to me, I think it's a very high risk situation to just blindly break into an unknown house. So that would indicate to me that if the intention was burglary, that this burglar and or burglary cell, someone had contact even peripherally with Nancy on a previous occasion, either through a delivery or through doing some sort of service, painting, yard work, some sort of maintenance, etc., and realized, all right, here's a house that we can add to our list of targets and we can scope them out. And I think the fact that we heard that it appears there had been a previous casing of that property prior to her abduction, the night she disappeared, to me, that suggests maybe there was a previous attempt and then she was home, and maybe they didn't think she was home that night when they went, and then they encountered her and things went sideways. I just don't think the intent was any sort of retaliation against Savannah Guthrie or because of who Savannah is, because I think we would have seen some sort of communication. Like, you didn't respond to my letters, or I don't like your politics, or I don't like your media channel, so therefore I'm hurting you this way. And we haven't seen that or heard that. And based on Savannah's videos, she's begging for some information, begging for some communication. So to me, I think this is possibly a burglary cell of locals that live in the area that have worked or delivered to various properties in this neighborhood. And they walkie-talkie, radio communicate with each other. They bring multiple backpacks to a location, and then they plan to clean it out with gold, silver, jewelry, cash if it's laying around. And then they radio, hey, come pick me up. I've got some bags to drop. And I just think something went sideways in that house. And it wouldn't even surprise me if perhaps she died in that house and then they were panicked because she had either bitten or scratched the suspect and they were worried about DNA. And so they had to take her body.
There's a lot that the FBI and I'm assuming Tucson, the sheriff's department, Pima County, know, like how they got in the house, like
right, how they got in and what the inside
anything stolen,
look like. Right, what is missing? Because to me, most burglaries happen during the day when people are at home or people are at church. Or, they say it's not a good idea to even put funeral arrangements in the newspaper because people will
Will hit your
burglarize your
house.
home while you're at the funeral or at the
Right.
wake, kind of
Or
thing.
if you're good, or on Facebook, don't tell people you're on vacation because
Right.
that's when they'll hit your house.
Right, right. So to me, I seem to think maybe they thought she wouldn't be home that night or she would be gone. And I just think something went sideways in the house. And, she may have woken up, saw somebody there, scratched them, tried to hit them and or bit them or done anything to defend herself from an intruder in her home and got their DNA. And then she could have had a heart attack. She could have fallen and hit her head. There could have been a lot. And then they panic and they're like, we got to get her out of here. And we got to go, you got all that wildlife and all that desert acreage out there. There's so many places that, it's hard to search all that on foot. It's dangerous.
The tough terrain too.
Yeah.
I mean, we were
Yeah.
watching some of the searches on YouTube, and did not look like it was an easy terrain to be searching. Let's just put it
No, and
that
all
way.
that cacti and the thorns and rattlesnakes and scorpions and what is it, the javelinas? Oh,
Yes.
and coyotes and not good.
I'd be more worried about the snakes and, like you said, than the coyotes and stuff.
Oh, the
Coyotes, I don't know.
javelinas, just to
Yeah,
me, those are just,
that's what you'd be.
well, like when
It's
we
fun.
covered Alec Murdoch and they were out hunting those wild hogs and they're like,
Really?
you better hit those hogs because if those hogs get you, there won't be anything left. And I'm like, yeah. So
That's
yeah, some
scary.
of these wild animals, I mean,
Look out.
it's a little scary. Yeah.
We'll get a question from Sarah tonight. Not about the animals, not about the critters. She says, how many days or weeks would pass before this turns into a cold case? Talking about Nancy Guthrie, I assume longer than average because of the, spotlight around it.
So it's only been a month. It's not even close to being a cold case. A cold case really is once all leads have been investigated and reviewed and everything possible has been run out. And then a period of time goes on beyond that point where no new leads are generated. That would be when a case is considered cold. So I would say, you're talking a good 6 months to a year at minimum, if not multiple years. There have been cases where, you always get a few little trickles of leads or you get new technologies developed, or especially in DNA, what, we couldn't do 5 years ago, we can do now, those sorts of things. So I think it's going to be a long time before this case is officially considered cold. And hopefully it never gets to that point.
Hopefully. Good question, Sarah. You always ask the best questions. We have more Kelsey questions coming in.
Okay.
There's one. Actually, before we get there, they want to ask about you. Deborah wants to know, why did you leave the FBI?
I retired. When you have 20 years in and you turn 50, you're allowed to retire as an agent. So I was ready. After 22 years, that was enough. And I wanted to write my books, and my twins were in 8th grade. And so I retired on, my last day was February 29th, 2020. And 2 weeks later, the world shut down for the pandemic. So
Wow.
I timed it pretty well.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Good timing. You must have, even though the pandemic, because you get a lot of the sports and, kids, drama clubs and all that stuff probably got shut down, but you probably got to see a lot of the high school stuff.
Oh, I got to see all my kids' high school stuff. I got to go to all the games, all their weekend tournaments. They were both into sports. It was fantastic, and it's great. It's just a lot easier to have kids in high school, and when they're learning to drive and they're staying out a little later and, they're kind of becoming closer to adults. It was just great. to be with
Did you
them. And,
did you get any of those 2 a.m. calls? My car broke down. Can you come pick me up?
no, I didn't get that, but it was kind of like, okay, 20 minutes past curfew, I would like send a text. Where are you? Oh, we're sitting out in the driveway. I'm like, all right, make sure
So
you're
your
out in the
kids, oh
driveway.
yeah, your kids were good. I had one of those calls with, yeah, it's funny. It
Yeah.
turned out good though.
They turned out, look, my kids, I'm so lucky. They turned out great. I'm really, really lucky.
that's all that matters.
Yes.
Um, Here's one. What do you think about this theory? That the boyfriend Justin talked to Noonan before and said to watch out, Kelsey might be violent. Then he walked to the basement to seize the baby. Noonan shot her twice. The boyfriend did not expect her to survive. It was trying to get her assets. Do you think any of that is
Well,
reality? I mean,
and
it's a
that's what I
theory.
was alluding to when, before, when I said, the alleged intrusion into the pension and the beneficiary to the pension accounts. I don't think he expected her to survive. I think he was manipulating that based on what has been alleged by Tim Bradle in that court filing. I think he was trying to make it so that he would profit. Absolutely. Now, do I think he told Noonan or there was some sort of communication or conspiracy that Kelsey might be violent? Well, Noonan and Kelsey worked together. So I think he would have had a good sense of her personality already.
That's
Of
true.
course, she was known that she was out on postpartum depression or had been, but she'd been cleared to come back to work. So he may have been on guard, wondering, okay, how is she? Maybe she won't be the way she was prior to giving birth, but she's cleared to come back. Maybe a little on guard, but I don't know if there'd be any sort of conspiracy there. He's got a pension and a livelihood himself, Officer Noonan. So I'm really curious. And I do understand, I don't want to seem unsympathetic to the fact that when you're in law enforcement and somebody pulls out a gun, you go from 0 to 10 right away, because it takes a second to go from this to this. So that I can see where he would draw his gun. I can absolutely understand that. My problem comes in with her saying the gun didn't go off and jammed, and he said she reloaded. To me, I don't understand why he just didn't overpower her.
That's when you go in. You
Yeah,
just grab the
yeah,
gun.
yeah. I find that, because it wasn't like she had an extra magazine on her person, so she would have had to reach for another magazine somewhere
Do the
else
whole
to
thing. Yeah.
reload. And that part of the story just doesn't ring true to
It
me.
falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Going back to the judge, we got a couple comments on the judge from the same person. They said the judge complained because of the accusations in Bradle's motion were not all affidavits. There were 2 affidavits, though. Seems like he's looking for ways to deflect this, not impressed. And then they go on to say the judge knows what it will cost the Commonwealth if Kelsey is acquitted, too. Do you think the judge thinks like that about the cost for the Commonwealth? Do they even care?
I think they care. Yeah, I do. I didn't get that impression from this judge. Did you get that impression?
No.
I
No.
didn't at
I
all.
think he was being
I thought he was
fair.
kind of good. I thought he was
Yeah.
very fair.
Much better than McCarthy Naaman.
Oh,
And much more
she was.
friendly to Bradle. And to come to find out, Bradle said after, outside of court, he said that, because Bradle used to be an assistant district attorney. He was a prosecutor in Suffolk County, which is Boston.
Right.
He said that this guy was also a former prosecutor in Suffolk County when he was. They weren't in the same units or whatever. They didn't work together, but obviously they knew of each other. They both worked in the same office at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a big office. It's Boston, so it's not like they
Right.
knew each other. There's no conflict. But I definitely feel like there's some kind of respect between him and Bradle and Martha, because this guy's been around. He's been a defense attorney, the judge. He was also a prosecutor. So I think he knows who Martha Coakley and Tim Bradle are. So I think he has some level of respect there. Unlike the other one, McCarthy Naaman, she seemed like she had it out for them.
I couldn't get over her.
Yeah.
I just could not get over. I found her to be rather manipulative with her saying, "Well, you didn't tell me you could possibly need an accommodation. You said that you could blow into this scram." Well, maybe she could one time when she tested it, but then doing it repeatedly, however many times a day or day after day after day, that was impeding her recovery. She maybe didn't anticipate that. She's never been shot before. I just can't understand a judge not being reasonable, understanding she'd been shot in the chest and there were other ways to accommodate the alcohol testing, why she just made such a big production out of the whole thing that didn't need to be a production.
Totally. That was just out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Out of control. Had a few other good questions too. People are throwing in all the good questions tonight. And I don't know where this one comes from. My person's monkey says, what if it's in writing that Noonan was told that she absolutely will shoot to kill? I don't see where that would come in writing though. Who would write that?
I don't know if anybody would write that, but here's
Yeah.
the thing. When you're in law enforcement and you are involved in a shooting, you have to be able to articulate an imminent threat to yourself and or to others. And so the fact that she pulled a gun, I understand why he drew his weapon. However, when he said that she went to reload, that's where I don't understand. Why didn't he overpower her, use pepper spray? Were there verbal commands? To me, that's where the story falls apart. Does he have a taser, an aspeton, anything where he wouldn't have necessarily needed to shoot?
Yeah. You never know. Like this is a big one too that keeps coming up. Noonan talked about a door, but there wasn't a door there. Do you think that's gonna be an issue about his credibility in terms of his report when there wasn't actually a door there and he says there's a door?
Absolutely. In your reports, if you're not accurate, that's a problem.
That's what I think a lot of this is going to come up too with the other police officers. Where were they? Were they where they said they were? With the video surveillance, it's going to be interesting to see if everything happened the way that the police reports say they did.
I mean, when you're in law enforcement and somebody pulls a gun, your voice level goes from 0 to 60 like that. So I can't believe if he shouted commands that wasn't heard by the security system and by everybody else in that house. Especially a 2-story house, because in 2-story houses, things echo.
Totally. You can hear a lot of times you can hear things on different floors too, like that. It's not a big house. My person's monkey says it's in a report. They were talking about what
With the door?
No, not the door. The part that she may be dangerous. They made that previous. I wish I could find that now. The previous comment about if Noonan was, expecting resistance from Kelsey, if he was told that. This one, here it is. Will shoot to kill. That Kelsey will shoot to kill. I don't know. I haven't seen that report. I'm wondering where you saw that, Mr. Person's monkey. I don't know.
I think the next 2 weeks are going to be really interesting. And I think the next pretrial hearing, what is it, the 12th or the 13th, I think it's coming up. That's going to be very, very fascinating. And I think you watch when her trial, if it does go to trial on the 23rd, I think it's going to be as closely followed as Karen Reed was.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of coverage. There was a lot of TV cameras outside there. A lot of people showed up too. So I think these videos, this video right here just kind of got everyone all fired up. When this guy plowed through the door, It was like McCarthy Naaman again. That's when there was a big spike in this case, is when McCarthy Naaman, the judge went crazy, and now this Justin video when he's plowing through the door. It's like got everyone's attention. Got everyone's attention in the media and in the public especially too. So going to be interesting. Anything else you want to say about anything we've talked about, whether it's Karen Reed or Nancy or any of the other cases or Kelsey Fitzsimmons before we wrap it up tonight, Jody?
Well, just a pleasure to be back with you, Mike, and I'll keep following these cases. And if your listeners and viewers want to tune into my podcast, I have daily coverage of a wide variety and to include all these cases that we've talked about. And certainly I will be covering Karen Reed as we go forward, because these depositions coming up, and the judge has been kind of a stickler about keeping to deadlines. So I'm very anxious to see what happens in the civil litigation.
Excellent. We posted your website up there in the chat, but I'm also going to post your Patreon so people are on the podcast. And you also have a book out. There's a lot of ways you can support Jody and what she's doing, and I hope people do. And we're also seeing a lot of donations come in for Kelsey Fitzsimmons, which I love to see that as well.
That's great.
Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for being back again. You're one of our best guests, and
Oh, thank you, Mike.
we love you over here. They're like the chat. They loved when you're on the show. So I want to thank you so much, Jody, for being here again tonight.
Well, thank you again, and great to see you, and glad your eye surgery went well.
Yes, it feels good. Like a lot of stress off my back, and
Yes.
yeah, it went well. Since the
Very
last time I
happy
saw
for
you.
Mike.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jodene Webber, retired FBI agent, author. Just thank you so much. She's also a podcaster. Check out her podcast. We just posted it in the chat. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your weekend, Jody.
Thanks, Mike. Take care.
We're the Young Jerks. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. All the good questions you guys asked. You're phenomenal. Phenomenal in the chat. Thank you so much. Also want to mention the fundraising. We've been doing good on the fundraising tonight. I just wanted to get to 90,000. We started at 88.9. We're at $93,000. That's like $5,000 has been raised since we started the show tonight, something like that. Was it maybe a little more than 4,000? 4,000 and change. It's amazing. I want to thank everyone who's been donating tonight. We'll take a look too. Some of them are from Mazza Media too. I've been noticing he's been fundraising tonight too. But it's amazing to see some of the money coming in as it trickles in tonight. I want to thank everyone who's been donating to Kelsey. It makes a lot of difference to her. Look at all these donations. They keep coming in all night. All right. My name is Mike Crawford. This is the Young Jerks. Actually, I didn't even have it on the stage, did I? Let's put that back up there. $93,040. Amazing. I want to thank everyone who's been donating tonight. Yeah. And hit the like and subscribe button on the way out as well. I want to thank everyone for the super chats. I'll just go through those quickly. Marilyn started off, even before we started the show, she gifted some Young Jerks membership. She did it twice tonight. Thank you so much. We also had Rose. Thank you, Rose, tonight. She's a regular. Natalie Diana, one of our mods. Thank you so much for the super chat tonight. And Michelle Yabel. Thank you, Michelle. And Recovery Cat, who's here, another regular. Thank you so much, Recovery 3RY Cat. And Natick9, I don't think I've seen you before, so thanks for the super chat tonight. Much appreciated. And I want to thank all the good questions. Like Grammy, that was a good question you asked tonight. A lot of you asked great questions. And you make sure that we get all our facts right, because sometimes we say things and they're not, we mean something, but we don't quite get down to the nitty gritty, and you guys make sure we do. So I want to thank you all in the chat. Yeah, I'll be checking out some of those family court hearings too. That's going to be exciting. You know, there's going to be a lot of action at those family court. I need to find out when the next one is upcoming because I think there's one upcoming very soon. And those are still in Salem, which is closer to me, so I want to try to get to those. And I don't know if I'm going to be there for every day of the trial. I definitely will be for some of the days. I'll check in. I want to see the jury, but I'll probably be streaming a lot of it from home because it's always good to stream on the channel as well. I want to get as many eyeballs on this trial as possible. So I'll probably be going back and forth between Lawrence and home, but I definitely want to be at those family court hearings. Those are not, they don't allow video on those. So the best way to see those is to go in. So I definitely want to go to those. Oh, yeah. I think Justin Alain, some people call him Justin Alien now. Alien. I like that one. Justin Alien. A lot. Yes. He's going to, I think definitely he's going to be called to testify by the defense, if not the prosecution. It'll be interesting, though. Will they? You're right. Maybe the prosecution will pull Proctor and never bring him out. It's like, should the defense bring him out? I don't know. You never know. You never know. Thank you so much, Vicky. I really appreciate that. We have a lot of good shows coming up. I just was emailing with Juna Perkins, who's running for district attorney in Norfolk County. We're gonna have her back on the show soon. She got called desperate by Adam Deich. Adam, who won't come on the show. He's too good for us. He's too good for to do any media in Boston. It looks like Adam Deich is too good for NBC Boston. He's too good for Boston 25. He's too good for Howie Carr. He's too good for the young jerks. But desperate Juna Perkins is not. She's going to come back on the show very soon. So I'm looking forward to that. Um, we're also going to have retired judge, family court judge, Carol Erskine back on the show very soon. Probably going to reach out to Diana DiZoglio, the state auditor, again. Have her back on the show. A lot of great women come on the show. That's what I love. I love It's funny when Jody talked about some of the men that don't support women in the workplace. I'm just the opposite. I love the powerful woman. I love I don't know, something about it. And I love the women guests that we have here. Just get no way. This is what I don't accept. You cannot say Carol Erskine is a hack. How do you think she's a hack? All she does is raise money for kids, help kids. She's great. I love Carol Erskine. I don't get that comment at all. I don't get it. Yeah, women do get it done. I like strong, compassionate women. I do. A lot of them are my best guests. A lot of them support me too. I don't know what it is, but I've always found a lot of support from women, from myself too. Um, yes, I mean she's talked about Kelsey in the past as well. Judge Carol Erskine. You hope Perkins wins. See, for me, I'm not in the district, so it doesn't make a difference to me, honestly. But I'm kind of leaning. If I had to vote, I think I would vote for Perkins right now. I wanted to support Adam, but geez, he's not really showing me his best. I don't know. I like that Karen Reed supports him, but I mean, if that's it, like, are we really deciding district attorney by who Karen supports? I mean, that's really his calling card, I think. Oh, as well as that he was a Fed, obviously. Um, I should check I just want to make sure I'm not missing any Venmos, any of that stuff. I thought I had something else to say too tonight. I can't remember. What was the other thing? It looks like we did have a Venmo. We just check here. Yeah, Shannon. Shannon said $10. Oh, that was recent. I never cashed it out. That was for the other night. She said for the meatloaf. All right. So we did thank Shannon for that one. That was the meatloaf. See, I'm not behind. I think we get out. We got all the super chats. We got all the Venmos. Let me just check one more. We got that one. Cool. I think we're good. I think we're all caught up. I think we're all caught up. Oh yeah, our numbers are going up. Our numbers have been going up quite a bit actually on the sub count. Some of them are from the shorts actually. It's funny because usually everyone's focused on the lives, how many live numbers you get, and that's usually how most of our subscriber count has gone up over the, to over 50,000. Over, we got up to actually up to 60. Then we lost some people. Now we're coming back again. But some of the shorts, we've done some short videos. We never used to really do short videos, but I started doing those, and some of them have gone kind of viral, and that's boosting our subs up right now. So welcome to all the new subs on YouTube and Facebook too. Facebook has gone crazy for us over the last month or so. So if you're new watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, we appreciate you. If it's your first time watching, you're not subscribed, please subscribe, like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. You want all notifications on YouTube. And I also want to say hi to LaFario. She's watching tonight. She's another great guest, one of the best attorneys that we have on the show, one of our best guests. I definitely need to have LaFario, Nan Gallagher, on the show again. Sometimes she just pops up too. She's amazing, but we need to schedule something and promote it again. Nan is another great woman guest on the show. Powerful. I love Nan Gallagher. Phenomenal. You first time watching? I thought I've seen you before, Kokomo, Indiana. I think you might be pulling. Are you pulling my leg? I think you've been here before. Maybe not. Maybe you are. If it's your first time, make sure you like and subscribe. Yeah, I hear Nan is very good, LaFario. She is very good. Yeah, we do love the new jerks. I knew you. Yeah, I knew Kokomo was messing with me. I knew it. I've seen that. I've seen Kokomo here enough to know. Sometimes I do get when people are messing with me. Sometimes you guys con me a lot in the chat. I like fall for stuff. It's hard to know. I think I got that one. Oh, thank you, Marie 2477. Hey, sometimes when you say stuff, not everyone's gonna agree with it. That's just the way of the world. It's just the way of the YouTube streets, right? You take the good with the bad. I'm not worried about it. Our numbers are going up. Our subs are going up. Every time we do a live show, the numbers are going up. And I know if I just stick to what made this show good, which is the guest and having those conversations, we're going to do fine. And I got to say, what I love the most is our chat. I love the ladies in the chat. I'm looking at you all, and you're just the regulars. I love you all, and we have the best chat. We got Nan in the chat. We got Sarah, shocking her. She's amazing. Yeah, I knew Kokomo was messing with me. Come on, Sarah. I knew she was. I'm guessing Kokomo's a female. You said she was a guy, so I think Kokomo's messing with you. Oh, thank you, New Hampshire Dude 603. He says, because me and Nan agree, $75. Thank you so much. Oh, Shannon's a new regular. Yeah, you're here all the time, Shannon, now. I love it. Thank you for being here all the time, Shannon. Deborah says, I look so good now. What is Mike, you look so good. You look so good, Mike. Happy and smiling. I am. I got a lot of stress on my back. The eye surgery and that lawsuit getting dismissed. I had a lot of stuff, even other things I was just trying to get done. It's just tough to keep up with life sometimes. I don't know how people keep up with everything. The older I get, the harder it gets. It seems like there's just more shit to deal with. Like this week, I gotta get it's March 1st. I forgot to get my car sticker. I gotta get my sticker done. That's tomorrow. Get the sticker. I gotta get a new sticker on the car. Oh, you're being a male jerk? So you are a male. We do have some males here. Where's Joe Biffle tonight? It's usually Joe Biffle with all the women. It's usually the chat here. You're 4 months overdue on your car sticker? Oh God, I couldn't do that. I'd be freaking out. I went to the supermarket today and I'm like, am I gonna get pulled over? Like, am I gonna get pulled? Are they gonna get me? Then tomorrow I gotta walk a few dogs and then I'll go get the sticker in the afternoon. But that's what I'll be thinking about all day. Am I gonna get pulled over? You can't in Massachusetts. You can't do the sticker online. You gotta go in. You gotta wait in line. The question I have is, do I chance it? Last year I took it to my local guy because we're pretty close to the city. There's no real highways. I got to go for like 20 minutes to get on the highway. And they always suggest for emissions that you get on the highway and drive it for a while to pass the emissions test. And I didn't do that last time. And I failed. I failed the emissions. And then I went on the highway and I passed. So like tomorrow, I'm like, do I really need to drive on the highway? Do I need to drive 20 minutes out of the way to pass the stupid emissions? I don't know. That's the big decision for me tomorrow. What do you think? Should I chance it? The other thing too is we are promoting promoting Jodene's website, Jodene Webber. Look at all these besides buying, you can buy her coffee mugs and her web apparel, but look at all these security items she has in here. This is what we're talking about. If you scroll down on her website, oh, I hadn't put it up on the screen. You'll see all the security items that we talked about last time on the show. This is what I need right here. The sliding door security bar. I actually need it for the window. I'm going to try to get because we got a window that considering all the stuff that just happened with Nancy Guthrie and with Justin breaking into the house, this might be a good reminder for us all to take care of your home security. And also hotel. When you're staying at hotels, there's some hotel door locks and things like that. You can protect yourself. Do I need a new ride? No, I do not. My car's great. I love my car. My car is fine. I got I'm not going to, I almost said what I have, but I'm not going to say it. I don't want to, I got enough problems. I don't need people stalking my car next. But no, my car is fine. I like my car. No issues. It's still under warranty. You know what I'm saying? You want me to drive to Jersey? I've done that before. I used to drive to, I think where you're at, actually. When I was at AIG, our regional offices were Morristown, New Jersey. So sometimes I would fly, but sometimes I would just do that drive. I don't like flying, honestly, and I always preferred driving, even though it's a long ride. Considering the flight is much quicker. A lot of times I would just drive down to Jersey, and I also liked that once I got there, I had a car there. So we used to stay. I forget, was it the Hilton? What was that hotel there? But we used to stay in Morristown. Fun. We had fun time. Yeah, it's right by your law firm. There you go. We do usually a once a year trip to Morristown, and then if you qualified for the big trip, they'd send you to some place like Orlando or wherever. Get all the free corporate meals. I kind of miss that lifestyle. I'd say like they send you off once a year on a nice trip. Oh, taking the train. That's a good idea. Next time if I ever get down there, I'll take the train. They got the Excella now, right? Would they criticize my car? I don't think they would. If you criticize my car, a lot of people get mad because it's a very common car. That's all I'll say. I gotta, it's not like I'm driving a BMW or something. But my car's still under warranty. That's what I like. I like having a car under warranty. I got the extended. I pay for the extended. I go into my dealership Free oil changes every time. I'm still in the free oil change kick. Yeah, I'm thinking about even getting that, even though I don't think I need it because I'm a wrestler. I know I'm ready to go. But the burner for self defense, you don't need any permits or any of that. It's a good little self defense thing, right? Yeah, that's the thing. Don't worry, the corporate soul crushing isn't worth the free trips. That's the truth of it. That is the truth. I could sleep well ever since I started my dog walk business. I sleep very well at night. You know, probably the only stress I ever have is from this little show I have, which shouldn't be stressful. Let's be serious. There has been a little stress recently, unfortunately, but yeah, I don't have the corporate soul sucking, you know, any of that. All right, I think I'm good. I think I'm ready to go. I don't know when my next show will be, but I'm gonna have a lot of good guests coming up. We're booking like crazy. I also am hitting up maybe a kind of a well-known local musician that he's probably going to come on as well pretty soon. So we're going to continue. Yeah, no drama shows, just doing the guests, having the conversations. What people like about my show, we're going to continue to do. And I like it too. I like it. It just feels better with my life. Just like tonight. Tonight was so much fun. Yeah, I would suggest getting one of those birdie alarms too. It's a good Christmas gift, right? Christmas is a long way off, but birthday gifts, Christmas. If you have any college students, someone said, is Mike getting 2 a.m. calls from doggies? No, that's my girlfriend's son when he was a teenager. His car broke down at 2 in the morning. Who'd he call? Me. I went out there. I went out. I drove out to Waltham. He had a flat tire, I think it was. I'm trying to remember. I think I was changing his flat tire at 2 a.m. He didn't know how. Oh man, the good old days. He doesn't call us anymore, though. He's all grown. He doesn't need us. Now we're calling him like, hey, can we take you out to dinner? Can we go see the baby? It's funny when they're young, they call you all the time. They need help. They need this. They need that. When they get older, we're the kids now. We're calling them. He's got a life now. He's got his own life. He's a great kid. He's an adult now. He's a daddy himself. He's got his little baby. Oh yeah. You know what though? Someone said you were good to rescue. With that kid, it wasn't even a question. You know what I mean? He's always been a good kid. Even when he had like when he was 16 to 17, he did get a little wild. There was like a year or two where he got a little crazy, but even then, I always knew that kid was going to be okay. I always tell the story about the kid is he came home. He was, he had his real father, so he'd go back and forth with us, stay with him, stay with us. And at one point, one summer, it was like, you need to get a job. He's like, oh, I don't want to get a job, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, no, you're out of the house until you don't come back until you have a job. Go walk into the coffee shops, ask every restaurant. By the end of the day, he had a job. And that, like, if a kid can go walk into a place and get a job, you know your kid's going to be good. No time for drama. Yeah, I just have no energy for it, It's just like, especially because it's not my drama, you know? There are other shows that do that stuff really good. I like if you want all the goods on JFK on Turtle Boy, you got Lana and JFK. Those are the shows. They're good at it. My show, I want to get back to what I'm good at, which is just interviewing people. We all have our different skills and what we enjoy, you know? And when I want to get updated, I just go watch those shows. I like watching JFK. He's my guy. I like JFK a lot. Been friends with him a long time. I'm obviously rooting for him and everything he does. But it's stressful. I even worry about him, you know? Like I look at some of the content they do and it's like, geez, man, I hope you're not getting stressed by it, you know? Because there is a lot of stress when you're dealing with those types of subject matter that they're dealing with over there. I like his crew. I think the reason why it works over there, and the other reason it works over there, is because it's not just one guy. He's got the whole crew, right? And they're all solid. You know, Jay Brill's solid. Kev is solid. He's got a good crew. And he's got all those long gamers. The long gamers really back him up. So I like their show. I watch it a lot. I was watching last night before I fell asleep. I was watching the other night at 2 a.m. All of a sudden, they pop up and do a 2 a.m. show. Yeah, and they are funny. JFK is fucking hilarious, actually. Some of the shit he says. I rip off a lot of what he says. I got spun out. Yeah, I love the long gamers. We love them. I'm a long gamer. I'm with you. Yeah, I take my 2 hour naps at 9 p.m. I took a 2 hour nap this afternoon. See my day on weekends. It's funny because a lot of times we'll go see the baby on the weekends on Sunday, but we didn't go today. So basically, I woke up. I did, I take my dog out, then I go take the customer, a 99-year-old lady that we take care of her dog. So I go take out her dog for the morning, morning business. And then I run over to Market Basket. I go pick up all the groceries. Then I pig out, and then I took my 2 hour nap. I took a little mid-afternoon nap, and then I woke up and I got ready for this. Easy day, really easy. You all caught up, Artie? I love that you all caught up. I'm all caught up. I also like James Jackson, that line. We're working over here too. My man crossed 3 lanes of traffic. We working over here too. That's what I always think of. I'm always working. We always working over here too. If I'm not doing a show, I'm doing dog walks or I'm doing a radio bit. See, it's funny because the last few months got a little stressful for me between the eye thing and the court and doing the Howie and the Grace shows. I was doing a lot of fill-ins for them. It doesn't seem like I was doing them that often, but just doing them like once in a while, it was kind of stressful for my life because of, the dog business, the YouTube show, and all of this other, these other things going on in my life. And I kind of, it's kind of cut back on that, but they have more options. They got Tommy Shattuck now to fill in a lot, which is good because there were only certain days like Fridays I could do it anyways. But it's kind of relief that they haven't really been asking me lately, which I like. It's like I like doing it. I never wanted to say no to it, but at the same time, it's kind of stressful for my life because I do have a lot going on, and it's a lot to drive over there. And I do like just doing the Friday spots on the Grace show. That's fun to do. She was actually out this Friday, so I didn't do it this Friday. But I enjoy doing the radio bits and just doing them by phone on Friday afternoons. That's always fun. And it's been easier. Like I'm starting to enjoy having an easier schedule, less stress. And that's what I'm looking forward to in the spring. It's just going to be doing some interviews here again on the show and hopefully having an easy spring and summer. I'm looking forward to it. You're still waiting for your financial advice show? I want to do one, but this is a tough market to kind of give the when I did my last financial advice show, it was not this January, but the last January. It was over 14 months ago. And it was the perfect time to tell everyone, get into these stocks. And it was such a, like I knew I was going to make people money. And I hear that a lot. People have said, I made money off what you told me to buy. But right now, it's a much harder kind of place to be. And that's probably why I should do another financial show because people have a lot of questions. I'm actually starting to buy silver. I got to say, silver and gold. because I just don't trust this market as much as I did. I still own almost all those stocks I talked about before, but with new money, I'm starting to get a little more diversified. So that's what I would say. Maybe look at silver and gold. Maybe look at I like some agricultural stocks and some energy stocks, which I didn't do before. So I'm doing more of the value plays. One of them is called Nutrien. These are just things I'm buying. They're not recommendations, not financial advice, but maybe I will do another show soon on the stocks. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thinking I do a good job over there. It's for me. It's kind of stressful. I have to say, doing a radio show, knowing it's on 40 stations and they're relying on me to be there and have a good show, and it's someone else's network. It's not like being here. When I'm on my show, I don't get stressed out. When I go over there, it's a little different. It is stressful, just because of me. I just it's not them. They're very nice to me. They are so nice to me. I gotta say, Howie Carr Network has treated me so well. Yeah, I think energy stocks right now is a good play because it's kind of an AI play, but it's also at a discount. Like they're not at the high multiple, so you probably don't have much downside on it. Yeah, let's check it. I'm going to check it one more time. Let's see how this fundraiser is going right now for Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Ooh, it keeps coming in. We're at 93,500. It's amazing to see this. Keeps going up. 93.5. Wow, I was hoping it would get to 90 tonight. It's at 93.5. Oh, thank you. I'm glad to hear that, Vicky. I'm the opposite of Howie's politics, but I always watch Mike. Thank you. I am too, right? I guess I'm more of an independent. That's what I say. Yeah, there's always the long goodbye over here, especially when I have so many people in the chat that I like. I like you all. It's hard to say goodbye. All right, let's make sure if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so tonight. I'm going to check our numbers. I want to see if I'm blown away again because our numbers keep going up. Our numbers are moving up. Notice the trolls don't want to talk about our numbers now. I used to never talk about the numbers like this, but now I like to kind of rub it in their faces. Oh my God, we're at 55,379. We're moving up. We're almost at 59. Look at that. We've picked up over like 400 plus subs in the last week. Woo. We're moving up, people. All right, I think we're gonna go now. I think I'm good. Great show. Great questions. I hope I got them all in. I hope no one got upset that I didn't answer all your questions, but I think we did a good job together tonight. Yes, like, subscribe, and set the alerts. Make sure you hit all notifications. And don't assume that you're subscribed if you've been subscribed in the past. Sometimes YouTube gets weird and they unsubscribe people. You make sure you check. Yeah, Jodene is such a good guest. I really enjoy her being on the show. She's phenomenal. I will say hi to Charlie for you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Vicky. We'll see what happens, Connie. I don't think he's going to get jail, but he might get some charges. We'll see what happens. We shall see soon. We'll stay on top of it. Yeah, I'm gonna go eat. I did a big shop tonight. I got chicken wings. I got steak. I did get some, I was going to get some bologna, but I didn't. Instead, I got some turkey breast because you guys have been hooking me up. I can afford turkey breast. And I got a little salami. I got my favorite steaks again. I got some of those meatball subs that Market Basket has. I love those. Ooh, their sauce is good. Yes, my girl is a lucky woman. I'm also a lucky guy. She's like the best. My girl is. There's a reason we stuck with each other for so long. We both work hard. We're both good partners. We're right for each other. You don't find that a lot when you just know. It's like battle tested. There was some moments in I'd say like 10, 15 years ago where I had my moments where we separated for a little bit. And I like went wild. I had like my John Lennon Lost Weekend type deal where I tried to sow my oats again. I had a midlife crisis. I came running back to her. I really did. I was like, I can't believe these other women are out here like this. I need you. I need my real. I'm lucky. I got the right one for me. I hope you find it too. You'll know. If you find them, you'll know. I know not everyone finds the right one for them, but if you do, you'll know. Thank you for getting the likes up. That's why I'm staying here. I need to get more likes. You can become a member too. Again, I want to check one more time before we leave. What's the number up to? Is it still moving up? It looks like it's not refreshing now. Or we're at 93,525. Thank you, Barbara. I see Barbara just donated. Thank you, Barbara, tonight for donating. I know I love grocery day. That's like one of my favorite days is when I come home with groceries. I'm such a simple guy. I get so excited about food. If I have a full fridge and freezer, I'm excited. All right, this is the longest goodbye tonight, isn't it? All right, have a great night, everyone. I'll see you soon. I'm not sure when. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just make sure you hit all notifications and check back. And I'll be looking. You know, one thing I want to do is get those Clinton depositions up. I have a feeling they're going to be doing some Clinton depositions about the Epstein, the video. It's probably already out. Is it out yet? I've been waiting for this. I don't know. Is the video out yet? Because I thought they would have that video out by now, and I don't think it's out. Yeah, they said a few days ago they were going to put it out, but I haven't seen it. So I'll be looking for that. I want to see what the Clinton said in those Epstein depositions. And also, I'm definitely going to do a show too very soon about Courtney Love and the Epstein files. And based it on the work of my friend American Spy Fox, he's got a really good YouTube channel. He's been on the show before with us. I'm probably going to review one of his recent episodes about Courtney Love and the Epstein files, and then kind of replay one of his episodes he did with us in the past where we talked about Courtney Love. Because it's interesting with what we said in the past and what Courtney Love's father told me specifically. I talked to him on the phone before he passed away about Courtney Love and what's coming out now. So I think we're going to also do a Courtney Love American Spy Fox, kind of revisit some of the material and maybe reach out to have him back on the show. He's great. I am redacting my goofy goodbye. It's taken. Is Biffle here? Where is Biffle? Let's pile up on Biffle. See if Biffle gets all worked up before we leave. I don't see Biffle. Biffle's gone. He's MIA. All right. I want to thank all our mods. Good night, Natalie. Good night, Sarah. We've had some good mods in the chat as well tonight. I want to thank our mods. Thank you to the mod team. Phenomenal mod team. Sheila, thank you. Sure, I'm forgetting. I saw Mia earlier as well. All right, I think I'm good. Oh, there she is, Mia. There we go. All right, have a good night. I'll see you soon. Peace out, peace out, jerks. Again, thank you to Jodene Webber. Please check out our website, jodenewebber.com. It's 1B in Webber, Weber. I'll see you soon, jerks. Have a great night. Peace out.